I have something to tell you. I've really been struggling. We're in between storms now, and this is my chance to fix some items that got washed out in the first storm. Let me show you. If you remember, we had the water spout, the rain gutter, washing this way and down the stairs, taking sand and gravel with it. So what I've done was I've done a makeshift reroute of the water, for lack of a better word, and it worked really well in last night's storm. You can see the path where the water went. So I think I'm going to put another piece on here and direct it at least further away, even more so from the house. But this still is working. Love it. Let's come over here. You remember we showed you this in a previous episode. This completely came out now. It's rotted away. So I thought to myself, what do I have here in my extra wood pile that could work? And I saw this old piece of old decking plastic, and I thought, perfect, this won't rot like wood did. So I'm going to use this piece, cut it to fit, and drop it in. Well, I've got my dad's old pick. Let's see what we can get done here with the remaining time of the day. All right, these knee pads, bought them for myself for Christmas. Merry Christmas to me. Thank you very much. Are a game changer. I'm liking them already. I still have to work on how tight to get them. I think we've got some more rain coming tomorrow afternoon. We're backfilling this now, and we're gonna just have to play the height by ear so that it does its job and stops flow of contents and soil, etc. But it also can't be a trip hazard. So we'll just have to play this one out by ear and see how it goes. Well, I'm gonna call this one a wrap. I think it looks good. We're gonna test it in the next big rain. We'll definitely come out here and see how it does. The superintendent walked the job, signed off on it. Everything's good. We'll keep you posted.
Hi everyone, and Happy New Year. This is our first Uncut of 2026. Hope you all had a wonderful holiday season. I don't know about you, but I am very excited to kick off the 2026 garden season. There's just something about a fresh start. Wouldn't you agree? We're leaving the old behind, getting started with the new. We can start things fresh. And if you missed our live stream yesterday, you missed a good one. We actually announced that we are having a theme for the CaliKim gardening family for 2026, and it is Garden Like You Mean It. And what this basically means is we're gardening this year with intention, not perfection. We're going to let go of our perfectionist tendencies, which if you all know me, and if you've listened to our live streams or uncuts in the past, you know that I really struggle with the need to be perfectionist in the garden, in my life. And I've really had to let go of that just to make my life less stressful, for my relationships, to make myself happier and my family happier. And so that's what this year is all about. So we're gardening this year, making choices and growing things that work for us, not just things that are trendy, not just so our garden looks Instagram perfect or social media perfect, but things that make sense. We really have to let go of the perfectionist tendencies and be okay with progress. Now I want to give you a real life example of this. If you watched our raised bed video, I believe we released it on Friday, you saw this gorgeous raised bed. Now I built this because it's getting harder for me. I'm going to be brutally honest with you. I am, how old am I now? 59? Yes, I just turned 59. See, I'm forgetting. And although I work out and I'm pretty strong, sometimes it's harder for me to get down and bend down into the raised bed. So I wanted to build a raised bed that made it much easier for me to garden. This one is 3 feet tall. I don't know if I've ever seen one this tall, but it worked for me. So I decided to build one that tall, and I love how it looks. However, let's look at the raised bed right next to it. It's several years old. I didn't water seal it before I built it. I mean, it's a lovely design for my book on raised bed gardening. But now that I see the two right next to each other, I am not happy at all with how this raised bed looked. And my perfectionist tendency is to, let's rebuild this raised bed now too. In fact, 808 Ladybug asked me that in the comments of this video. Are you going to rebuild all your raised beds now so they all look like that one? And the answer is no. Much as I would want to, it's not in the budget. It's just not practical to go through and rebuild all of my raised beds. That would be way too expensive. Take all the soil out, replant everything. Although it would look really, really nice in our YouTube videos and on Instagram, I'm going to restrain myself and not do it. Now, maybe we will eventually rebuild this raised bed. My vision for it is to make it just a little bit longer. So maybe I build a second one, but then you got to deal with, this is old wood, I didn't weather seal it, and then you build one with new wood. So I don't know what I'm going to do just yet, but definitely not going to rebuild it just because I want it to look perfect like this one. So let me know how this theme resonates with you. If you missed our live stream yesterday, I want to encourage you, number one, to join us on Mondays. We're doing some different things this year in our live streams. We had an awesome interview with one of our CaliKim Garden family members talking about her garden, and we kind of unpacked what garden like you mean it means, practical ideas and suggestions how you can implement this theme in your life too. And we are going to be building a lot of our content around that theme. So excited for you to join us for the 2026 gardening season. Jump in, you're definitely not going to want to miss it. Now, while we're on the topic of this raised bed, over the next month or so, I am going to be filling it with soil, showing you how to do it in an inexpensive way, but I would love your ideas on what to plant. I'm excited that it's 3 feet deep because in the summertime, it's really good for those deep-rooted vegetables. But right now in the wintertime, in the next 3 or 4 months before it gets hot, I need to plant some things that can grow in the cooler weather. So let me know if you have ideas, what you'd like to see planted, and I would love to hear your thoughts on our garden theme as well.
Well, I've got something I want to share with you. I've really been struggling these past 2 weeks. 2 weeks of clouds, rain, darkness, early darkness because the sun goes down earlier. It put me down in the dumps. I became very grumpy, lost all my motivation, and I became very snacky. In fact, I even put on a few pounds. To make matters worse, I kept it all inside, and it festered. I am embarrassed about sharing this with you because I know a lot of you live in the Midwest on the Northeast. My friend in Canada, gets a lot colder out there. You're dealing with months of snow, freezing temperature, slate, and all those matters. And here in California, we get a little whiny when things get below 60 degrees. And then Kim sat me down and she said, "What's going on here?" So I told her what I was struggling with: the cold weather, the constant dark clouds, no motivation, don't even want to exercise and walk, and I sure am enjoying snacking. And she said, "Listen, I get it." She didn't try to judge me, but she did say, "You've got to do something." I am back to walking with Kim. Sometimes we go twice a day in the afternoon and maybe even evening with our flashlights, but I'm trying to stay moving and keep everything positive. I've even made some changes at my desk where I work. I try to keep it well lit. I play music that I really enjoy. I am back to walking with Kim. Sometimes we go twice a day in the afternoon and maybe even evening with our flashlights, but I'm trying to stay moving and keep everything positive. I've even made some changes at my desk where I work. I try to keep it well lit. I play music that I really enjoy. I even turn on our diffuser and put it by my desk so I have a nice, pleasant aroma that I enjoy. And I've also started playing the piano again at the end of the day because it helps me relax and it's very fun for me. Any of you going through something like this? I'd love to hear about it. Like a good friend of mine, Stuart Smalley, says, "I'm smart enough, I'm good enough, and gosh darn it, people like me."